Hey class, welcome to week 3 DQ1. I wanted to go over the directions and kind of show you how you can formulate your subtopics. Again, remember, like I've been saying from the beginning, do not think of subtopics you want to force. Look at your articles to get your subtopics, because if you're trying to force a certain subtopic that you want, you might not have information on it, and then you'll be confused and you'll be like, hey, can I replace this article with a different article? And the answer is going to be no, because it's not about what you know about your topic. It's what does research state about the topic. So here's the example here that it gives. Okay, so this is one. Your initial DQ does not have to be over 100 words. Participation does. Okay, so you should have these contents right here in this example that I highlighted. Okay, you should give me your topic, what your 3 subtopics are, and then notice how these subtopics are written in a thesis sentence here. And notice how the goal setting, time management, motivation are in the sentence at the end. Because according to this, when you read this thesis, this is saying that after you write your introduction, your thesis statement will be the last sentence in your introduction, and then afterwards, your essay is going to discuss these 3 paragraphs right here. That's what that's saying. Okay, so that's why the thesis is worth a lot of points. If you look at rubrics, sometimes the thesis is worth 20, 30, 40% of the grade because of structure. Without structure, essays it's not gonna mean anything. Okay, so whatever your 3 subtopics are, they got to come from your articles. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Take a look at the worksheet that you guys just completed. I found 3 articles that had talked about servant leadership as an example, and then instead of me writing my summary, I just wrote that in, just pretend it's there. But what you're going to do is you're going to get one subtopic. This is the best way to do it, one subtopic per article. So I'm going to choose something from this article here that talks about emotional labor and how servant leaderships affect employees. Okay, and I'm going to pick one thing from here, one theme from here, one aspect that I saw in the end of this article that showed that I could use as a subtopic, and that's going to be one subtopic. And I'll get to that, how I formulate it in a second. Then I'm going to go to this article that says advising a servant leadership, investigating the relationship. I'm going to come into something in that article that I want to point out and discuss. And keep in mind, there's no way to discuss everything that you research. That's why you're coming up with 3 main points from one from each article that you have information on. Then my 3rd subtopic will come from the 3rd article. And it's in no particular order at this point. Okay, you can choose these 3 subtopics and organize them however you want when it comes to organizing them here on a sentence. But when you write a sentence like this and you have it organized, your 3 subtopics as such, in the essay, that's where you have to keep it. Okay, so when you write your introduction, and the thesis is the last sentence in that introduction, if you have goal setting, time management, and motivation as your 3 subtopics, then that means a paragraph right after the introduction should be about goal setting. And then the paragraph after that will be about time management. And then the paragraph before your conclusion will be about motivation. So going back to my example here, let's say in this article I find something very interesting to write about. One of the things I want to talk about. So this whole article I can already guess is about the emotional label. So maybe I want one subtopic to be talking about emotional labor, the emotional labor, or the impact it has. Okay, and so maybe I'll have the effect on employees' emotional labor. Okay, and this is just me formulating a good thought process here. Advising as a student, investigating the relationship. So advising as a servant leadership, investigating the relationship. So as I read that article, could be how um, it improves servant leadership, improves uh, relationships. Okay, I could put that down as part of it. You know, advising relationships. How about that? And this is just me thinking of just getting started. And then this one, as I read it, talks about how servant leadership and ethics are connected. Okay. It also says there in the title, a dyadic examination of supervisor behavior and salesperson's perceptions. So it's helps build ethics. So I could talk about how servant leadership builds ethical relationships or just ethics. Okay, because I could also put that in here about advising relationships. So I have my 3 subtopics right there. Okay, so how do I formulate my thesis from just this? Pretty simple. I'm going to end up writing this into a sentence, and let me go ahead and get to that here. So I wanted to show you side by side. Notice how I have my 3 subtopics, one from each article here. Okay. And then right here is my thesis statement. Just one sentence. It's not a question. It's not a fact. It's not something you cite or prove. It's declaring, here's the next 3 paragraphs. After you write this introduction of what your essay is about, here's what the next 3 paragraphs are going to discuss. And look how simple it was to write this. There will be a discussion on how servant leadership theory affects employees' emotional labor. That's this first one. Improves advising relationships, and builds ethics. And I just wrote it out as and develops ethical behaviors. So now I have all 3 theories here, or all 3 articles, where I have information that are going to help me in each paragraph. So now I know this article is going to help me write this paragraph right here. Okay? So when I begin to write that paragraph, I know I have information I can build upon. And then when you do your outline, you'll have information to set that up. Okay? Then your second paragraph and your second subtopic will be improves advising relationships. Well, I have information on that. So I'll write a good paragraph about that. Then my third article will be my third and final subtopic, develops ethical behavior. Okay, so I'm taking something key from each article and using it. And if you don't understand this right now, that's okay. But just pull from each article like that, like what you submitted last week. Just keep an eye out on the grade book for information on that. But this is how you should write your thesis statement. Okay, and it's really no different than what you've done in this section here. Okay, because if you think about it, like I said, you could write it like mine, or you can keep it as simple as 3 simple things instead of writing longer subtopics than what I have. If you want to put, this essay, I could even put, something like that where it's like, there will be discussion on servant leadership theory, influences emotional labor, develops the relationships, and creates ethical behaviors. I can summarize it smaller than that if I want to. What you want to do is I don't want to complicate it, but you just want to simplify the sentence into proving what you have. So you should have your subtopics here and also the subtopics at the end of the sentence. No questions, no citations, nothing. This is very simple. So I hope this helped out. If you have any questions, please let me know.